Hi, everybody. Hope you're having a great holiday season. It is kind of cold outside, and I just wanted to take a couple of minutes just to talk to you guys about just how good God really is. And I know sometimes around the holiday season, it gets very, very, very some people just become depressed. Even if they have money, they become depressed. Of course, people become depressed if they don't have anything, but even people with a lot of money can sometimes be depressed. They say that many suicides happen during the holiday season. So I just wanted to let you guys know and to just hear it from a person who really believes. And I'm not a Bible toting, even though I have my Bible right here. I'm not really a Bible toting, beat you on the head kind of person about, God. We all have our own personal relationships with the Father. And He's our friend, He's our Father, He's our confidant. And in some instances, He's even the only Father that we've ever known or that we've ever spoken to. So I say all this just to say that it is important to keep yourself together at this time, no matter what is happening. I know sometimes stress can be, a real, pain in the rear end. And families can be a real pain in the rear end. But sometimes we can't choose our families. We just have to love them unconditionally. And sometimes when you're going over or you're visiting with them, things happen, and don't let there be no alcohol around because they really go berserk. But I don't have that, of course, that issue, but I know that there are some people, not that I haven't had it as an issue before, probably years ago. But anyway, my whole purpose of doing this particular video is to tell you all to keep faith. And I just want to just give you a couple of testimonies on why I feel that God is real, and why I know God is real, and why I know that He answers prayers no matter what. And I believe that if you are indeed a true child of God, there's lots of people, we're all His children, but some people feel that because they go to church, or because they, I guess, maybe read the Bible, that they might be better, or they may have a closer relationship with our Father. But honestly, we carry our own churches around with us, and you don't have to go to church every single Sunday. In fact, to be honest with you, God really wanted us to have relationships and not so much religion. Religion is all man-made. There's no, even if you read the Bible, you're not going to see Catholicism in the Bible. You're not going to see Methodist in the Bible. You're not going to see Presbyterian or an evangelical. You're not going to see any of those man-made religions in the Bible, because God really just wanted us to have relationships with each other, not so much a man-made religion. And the religion kind of like separates you. So sometimes you feel like you can't even really go to church because you have so many people in there fighting amongst themselves. Even in the church, you have those territorial spirits and those jealous spirits, all over the place. And then you also have those phony spirits. But one thing's for sure, you can fool some of the people some of the time, but what you have to remember, that you cannot fool God any of the time. He knows your heart, your mind, your soul, and your spirit. He knows what you're thinking before, even while you're thinking it. He knows what you're going to do before you even do it. So my whole thing here is to just say, keep the faith. Now I'm going to give you some testimonies as why I know that God is real, and I know that I'm a true child of God. One, because He's kept me this long. And, you guys, anyone who knows me here in the city of Yonkers knows that, I was lied on, and, things were said that were not even true. People are so intimidated and so threatened by my runs for office that they're just completely, batty, and they focus on me. What's she doing? Where's she going? But I want to tell you something. God is so good. And first, I want to just talk this video about just things in general that have happened to me. Okay, so the first thing is, When I was 19 years old, I was in a really bad car accident. And what happened was during my freshman year, everybody, and I do mean all of the friends, were fighting. By the end of the semester, this one wasn't speaking to this one, and that one wasn't speaking to that one. The guys on the basketball team, they were mad at these guys on the basketball team. It was really nuts. So, what happened is, me and my play cousins, we decided that we wanted to do a barbecue. And we were going to do this barbecue before the end of the semester because we just felt like it was, a way to maybe bring people together. But unfortunately, I was the only person who was speaking to both sides, if you will. So we borrowed, we call her Aunt Lena, who passed away. We borrowed her car, and we were going to have the barbecue at her place in the outing. We had cooked. I had sat up all night making macaroni and cheese, potato salad. I think it was potato salad that I was making because I never made potato salad again for like at least a decade. So anyway, we go to get the kids, the other students, and we bring them all together, and everybody's in the car. And, it must have been maybe about 8 or 9 of us in the car. And unfortunately, we were in the Catskill Mountains. So when we were going up this lake street, and then all of a sudden, the car had been acting crazy. My cousin Rita was driving, and she was up on the side. Well, we're like, Rita, what's going on? Can't you keep the car on the road? And she said, it's not me. And then we started to go up this hill. Now we're in the mountains, so we're going up this hill. Next thing you know, we didn't know what it was, but what happened was the engine seized in the car. And by the time we got almost up the hill, the car started to go backwards. Now, this guy called Apple was very tall. He was on the basketball team. So he decided to walk out of the car. My apartment is very warm. He decided to walk out of the car. He could literally step out of the car. My girlfriend, Vanessa, she was in there, and she was from Amityville. And so Vanessa, everybody's going, oh my God, because as the car started to drift backwards, we couldn't go forward. Rita, the emergency brake, everything. She's like, I got my foot on the emergency brake. I'm pulling the emergency brake. Nothing was working. The bottom line is the only thing that was in back of us was a street with cars going back and forth and a gas station. So one or two things was going to happen. Either the car was going to go into the street and get hit from both sides, or one side, depending on how busy the street was on that Saturday morning, or we were going to go into a gas station and blow up. So what happened was everybody was panicking. Everybody's jump, 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 jump. It was chaos. So somehow or another, I didn't know whether to open the door or not open the door. Vanessa opened the door when it was starting to drip down the hill. Her foot got caught in between the hinge of the car. Okay. And so we saw her on her back. Her foot got caught, and she was being dragged down the street with her on her back. And then I got pushed out, and somehow I remember, and just like in real television, I was caught underneath the car. The front of the car went over me. I was underneath the car being dragged. I tried to lift my head up. When I tried to lift my head up, I got hit in the head with the fender of the car, and I was just laying there in the middle of the street. I kept telling myself, I looked and I saw them going, and they were going backwards. So all of a sudden, this tree that we never paid any attention to, it was in a residential area, so it was houses all along the side of the street. These people were all standing outside, with their robes on, and, it was just really crazy because it was in the morning. We left early to go and get everybody. And so while I'm laying there in the middle of the yellow line, I saw my friends in this car, and I saw them hit this tree that we don't know where it was. This tree, it just hit this tree. The car hit it backwards, bam. And I saw all of them running out of the car. So they was like, oh my God, oh my God. And I was there saying, don't die, Ivy, don't die. I have no idea how I got across the street, but I used to fence in college. I used to fence, and my fencing partner, and I used to weight train. So my fencing partner, somehow I got across the street. I remember my friend Mark came with his jean jacket and he put it down on the sidewalk. He said, "Oh my God, Ivy. Oh my God." He said, "I've never seen anything like it before. That was like something out of TV." So my friend John, who I was working out with and fencing with, he reached down on the sidewalk. He said, "Come on, Ivy, get up." So I said, "I can't." He said, "What do you mean you can't?" So sure enough, bottom line is they called the ambulance. Vanessa, I said, "Where's Vanessa? Where's Vanessa?" And, Vanessa was there. Vanessa was the one who got caught, in the car, got her foot caught in. Apple was okay, of course, because he stepped out when the car was going slowly backwards, when it was going slow. And anyway, so the long story is that I was making jokes because I didn't want anyone to know that I was hurt, but I was making jokes. And they kept saying, "Ivy, why are you making jokes? Because you got hurt." Anyway, I was paralyzed from the waist down. So I went all around to say that. I just thought it was a wild story. But anyway, I was paralyzed from the waist down. So we have a 19-year-old female. She's paralyzed from the waist down. I did all that cooking and all that waiting for Miss Bucks, God rest her soul, this delicious lemon cake that she used to make. Anyway, they took me to the hospital, and the hospital's the worst thing because they wash these your stuff with these some cleanser that to get the abrasions. It was just very painful. Anyway, they told me I would never walk again. I was on a liquid diet, but I couldn't stay there because in my mind, I was a cheerleader, I was a dancer, I was an athlete, I played basketball, I lift weights, I fenced, I did all this stuff, and I just couldn't even imagine not being able to walk. So after being in the hospital for maybe like a week or whatever, I called my friends, the guys on the basketball team and a few other friends, and I said, "Look, you guys got to come and get me because when you're paralyzed from the waist down, you can't even move your body. You're in a lot of pain too." But they took an x-ray of my head. They told me that I was paralyzed, that they would help me, with therapy to try to, regain some kind of way to walk. Anyway, bottom line is I left the hospital in a wheelchair. I must have been in that wheelchair for maybe at the most, I'm going to say a week. But I ended up, and they was like, "Oh, you're a miracle. How are you walking? This, that, and the other." I was on crutches for a very long time. So the sides of your arms over here, they really start to hurt because you're on crutches. I say that because when they told me I wasn't going to walk again, I just couldn't imagine not walking anymore. The other thing is that, again, another thing that happened is that when I was in college at Syracuse, I got this terrible, terrible, terrible ear infection. It was really bad. I don't know what happened. I bought a pair of earrings. The ear infection got so bad that they were going. I couldn't even open my mouth. If you ever have an ear infection, I feel bad for babies when they have an ear infection. It's got to be horrible. And I know they can't even cry. I remember when Ella, my little granddaughter, had one. I'm sure it's horrible. You can't even cry. It's so bad. Anyway, long story short, they told me that I was going to lose my inner ear. And this is in Syracuse, so this was at Upstate Medical Center. So my friend, God rest his soul, Tyrone, and my friend Anthony, hey Anthony, wherever you are, they took care of me. They brought their work over from school. They would do their homework there. They would make sure that I had my medication. I had the best friends. Thank the Lord. I've always had like the best friends in the world, both male and female. They've all been so very, very good to me. And I thank God for that. And it might be because, my family pushed in my head, your friends can either bring you up or take you down. Don't let everybody in your life, be very, and I'm very good about picking good people to be in my life. So, if you're probably not real close to me, you might not be a very nice person, or I don't know. I'm not saying that you're not. It's just that there's just people that I don't have in my life because I just don't feel like they're good. Now, I'm trying to fix this light here, but the light still keeps getting in the way. Anyway, I don't know what's going on. So anyway, my brother and I both have like really tiny holes. Our ears are normal, but the holes inside, like where you get those little long things with the light on the end of it and you push it into your ear, for some reason we have these tiny little holes, so they have to use pediatric ones. So after a couple of weeks, they had me on antibiotics, and then I went back to the doctor because I know they said they were going to have to remove the inner ear. Well, what happened was they called all these other doctors. They said, look, you got to come see this. her ear is healing by itself. So sure enough, the bottom line is my whole family must have prayed. I come from a very good family that prays. At least the elders did. I can't talk about the ones now. But they prayed, and I did not have to lose my inner ear. Praise be to God, okay? And I just also feel also that you have your own healing powers. But we'll talk about that again in a little while, because I'm going to have to come back and tell you guys the rest of it, because sometimes this thing is a little too long. But I want to tell you about the fact that my ear healed by itself. Now I'm going to come back and I'm going to tell you guys the rest of the stuff, the rest of my testimony, because God really is good and he can answer prayers. He does answer prayers. It doesn't matter who you are, as long as you have faith and as long as you believe and as long as you have prayer warriors, and I mean the real warriors praying for you. And my family, with their Native American and their African American from generations and ancestors from back in the day, know how to do this stuff. Okay, so I'll see you in a little while.